Hello, everyone. Welcome to Telling Tales. We make atmospheric tabletop roleplay streams for you here on Twitch. It's a very interesting and not at all already slightly screwed up night tonight. I can see my crew ready and raring to go. I have a monitor that keeps turning itself off. Justin has pizza to eat. Sam's out walking his dog. We're already off to a raring start, and what more raring start could we have than saying hi to Steve, the stream manager, before we crack on with things. Hi, Steve. How are you? We've been out for a while, so tell me, Steve. Tell me everything you know about monitors.
Oh, they're just an eternal pain, basically.
I mean, that's all you need to know. I think I think you've ruined my plans to vamp there by summing up everything you need to know in one sentence.
But you can get them in different sizes, so there's that.
You can. No one could ever argue that wasn't true. So that's Steve. Steve will be stream managing behind the scenes, moving around pictures and cams and moderating chat and all that good stuff. So if he pops up, it just means that something more horrible has gone wrong. So it's all good. So thank you, Steve. Let's get the promo out of the way. There's a bunch of links down below. There's links to YouTube and Twitch. You're watching on one. Why not check out the other? In particular, our YouTube has just by now hundreds of episodes of role-playing goodness. If you want to go watch those, got links to our social media, to our Discord where you can join and talk to us about all things roleplay, to our Patreon where you can get nice rewards like character creation videos and the like in return for your support. We run 3 weekly series at the moment, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Each of them kicks off at 8 o'clock BST in the evening. And we also have a monthly one-shot slot on the first Saturday of every month. The most recent one this past Saturday gone was Honey Heist, which was hilarious and full of bears, as you might expect. The videos for that are going to go up on our YouTube over the next few days, but if you want to catch the Twitch VOD, it's still there in all its glory. We also run a fortnightly game over on the Free League Twitch, Fetters of Stone, which is a Simbaroom series. It's on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment, but it will be coming back on Sunday, the 18th of July, and then we'll pick up fortnightly from then. Oh, that's on my promo and nowhere near enough. So let's start bringing on the players and doing the recaps while I pray that my monitor just doesn't turn off every minute or so. But if you see me like starting to flail and looking, panicking or swearing loudly or anything like that, don't worry, it's just that. Either that, or I suppose maybe it could be the Rapture. Could be the Rapture, couldn't it? Let's bring on our first player tonight. Let's bring on Justin, who plays 3 Sheets, the Keeper's resident hound, tracker and hunter and all kinds. How's your pizza, Justin?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
What'd you get?
Well, it's got sausage on it and
Okay.
other kinds of sausage.
I wish I could see the sausage, but there it is. It's back again.
You don't want to see my sausage pizza?
I don't. Well, you know what? Why don't you show us a bit of your pizza, Justin?
No, I'm quite all right, thanks.
You're all right. Are you ashamed of the pizza in some way?
No, I just don't think that I'd show more of my room apart from this very carefully curated.
Oh, you could hold a slice of the camera.
No, because it'll fall on me like in a comedic fashion. And
I won't lie. That was my secret hope. That was my secret hope. So there we go.
Well, consider yourself foiled.
Yeah,
I throw a real sausage in the works.
Hey, I don't necessarily know how to react to that. So let's just get on.
Last week, I remember some interesting things happened. For example, we tried to do this. We were told to dissuade some grey cloaks from living in the residence they were in, and we had a distraction set up. Pierre's character Echo was going to set off some fireworks to distract everyone, and then we were going to slip in up the fire escape at the back. Fireworks went off without a hitch. If we'd seen Echo, we'd have seen some crazy acrobatics getting onto the roof. Unfortunately, when we tried to do the same thing, it did go very poorly. So instead, we tried an alternative route through the back. Yeah,
through the back. You, I believe. Well, let's let's talk about that, because this was going to be Sam's little bit, but he's not quite with us yet, but he'll be with us momentarily. But I'll cover his recap for him. So essentially, yeah, you tried to go up the fire escape. The fire escape collapsed. And then you decided to get in through a boarded back window, ended up face to face with one of the Grey Cloaks. But you solved that problem by shooting her.
Yeah, I was a gangster. I've got a lot of experience in my life of being a gangster, so it came very naturally to me.
I mean, gangsters certainly never show their pizza to camera.
Exactly. I'm an OG, and so I was just naturally reached for my guns and shot this Grey Cloak, making it difficult for us to be stealthy.
Very difficult. A difficulty which ramped up when the owner of the because this basically their apartments, these Grey Cloaks apartments, were above a tobacconist in 6 towers, and said tobacconist kind of after hearing the gunshot, kind of stumbled out. You tried to kind of hold him hostage and shout upstairs to the Grey Cloaks that everything was fine, but instead he had a heart attack. And then basically all these Grey Cloaks were going to come downstairs and ruin your party by engaging a bit of the old ultra violence. But instead, John did something. Let's bring on John, who plays Bricks, the crew's resident thug. And see, John is prepared to.
John's also an OG because he's got. Only OGs have teddy bears.
Only OGs don't show their pizza to camera, but show their teddy bear to camera. Those are the rules. I do remember those lyrics in Straight Outta Compton. So there we go. Perfect. And you know what? We've got Sam on as well. I've done your recap, Sam, but bring Sam on. Sam plays Silver, the crew's resident slide, aka sort of spy manipulator type person. But John, as you were saying, Bricks, yes. I'm just confusing Steve all. I can see him shaking his head as I'm asking him to basically swap these pictures back and forth now. Tell us how Bricks solved the non-sneaky situation.
So there were a couple of Grey Cloaks coming down the stairs. The old, maybe slightly rickety wooden stairs with a number of exposed support beams, and Bricks just happened to have brought a sledgehammer, and the problem kind of resolved itself from there.
Well, with a little bit of help from Bricks swinging the sledgehammer, but yeah,
yes,
absolutely. You brought down the stairs, it collapsed. All the Grey Cloaks were left in a kind of bleeding, broken pile on the floor. None of them very apparently dead. Even the one that was shot, not definitely dead, but definitely the worse for wear. And while all this was going on, one other member of the crew decided to actually complete the score. So let's bring on the final member of the crew. It's Pierre, who plays Echo, the crew's lurk, sneaky rogue thief, only slightly disturbed from the purity of her purpose by a talking demon mouth in her neck. Pierre, how did Echo's night go?
Well, after she set off those fireworks very effectively, this was plan A. She, from the top of the roofs, observed plans B through D failing pretty badly. So plan E was engaged, which was tightrope walking across the roofs, across like a washing line and into the building. Luckily, all of that sledgehammering was a really good distraction, and I managed to sort of sneak around and find probably what they wanted destroyed, which was a set of documents. Unfortunately, they were being held by a Grey Cloak, who I did manage to get the jump on, but then I did not dispatch him particularly quickly. He headbutted and jumped out a window.
He had a bit of a hero moment, which I think just really shows that maybe you guys aren't. But that's, maybe we already know that.
He made us, he suggested that maybe we didn't know who we were working for. And while true,
we know who we're working for. We've got a name.
Yeah, we're working for that green lady.
For ourselves.
Yeah. No. So yeah, he got away, which I think we're going to play off as us driving him off. But yeah, and then we burned the whole place down.
Yeah, and then you burned the place down. You managed to. Did you snaffle any documents in the end, or did you?
I did. I basically surveyed the area. I saw this chalk thing. I tried to make notes, but I don't know. I didn't
do much of a good job. Yeah,
there was a tiny little tiny bit that I got was that this was relating to some sort of Leviathan hunters.
Yeah, specifically all the chalk drawings on the blackboard were of a Leviathan hunting ship.
Yeah,
but you have no idea of that. Like the context of that or what that might mean, because the guy you were about to question about it jumped out of a window to get away from you, and then you burn the place down. So another successful score from the keepers. And with that in mind, we now have a downtime phase to complete. So the first thing to do, obviously, is talk about the payoff. Now here I would say we've been doing small scores up until this point. Would we say that this crossed the line to like a bigger thing, and I'm kind of in on either side of this. I know what Justin will say, but what do the others of you think? You know, what the honest response is?
You come to us playing Blades in the Dark and expect honest responses. You fool.
Sure. Do you feel like it was a step up or not? What do we feel?
It feels a bit like it was a step up.
Our patron is definitely richer than we're used to. Visibly,
that is a very good point.
Know.
You know what? That's the thing that swung me there, and maybe this patron is trying to get you on their side. So we'll go with that. So you can take 6 coin for this.
Oh,
for this
think of all the stuff you can buy.
I know, with 6 full
burn
coins.
down another gang hideout.
Yeah, think of all of that you can steal for your own purposes. I'm assuming now that we're gonna pay our dues to the grinders.
Yes.
I will. Like Echo will once more sort of grumble about this and be like, "We better be getting our money's worth."
Is it still just 1 coin?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always just your tier plus 1, and your tier is 0.
Coin.
So.
Who are these grinders anyway?
Our mates.
So in that case, yeah, that's great, and that actually changes something else, and it's something I'm going to talk about in a bit. But we'll do the downtime phase first, and by which time I'll probably have forgotten. But remind me. You will also get some increased rep. Now, this is your first score with a target. The target is the Grey Cloaks. They definitely have a higher tier than you. In this case, and what happens is you take +1 rep per tier higher. So let's go have a look at what tier the Grey Cloaks are. The Grey Cloaks are tier 2.
Nice.
So what this means is you earn 2 rep by default. And then if the target is higher tier, then you take +1 rep per tier higher. So you gain 4 rep.
That's crazy.
That's good.
I mean, maybe not, because... Well, I suppose we're getting well known.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want right now. How much rep does that leave you on, John? What does your rep tracker look like here now?
It looks like we are on 8.
And you need 9, I believe, to start thinking about tiering up. Is it? Is it? 9?
I'm already tearing up.
Okay. So the full tracker is 12, but there are add-ons for turf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have a look. Either way,
so,
I don't think.
Just to clarify, the way turf works, like turf works backwards, so it doesn't get eliminated when you kind of like prestige. So turf is like a permanent bonus to your thing or something like that.
So it always fills in like the last however many.
Yeah,
slots.
I think you need less rep to go up the more turf you have, right?
Yeah.
In that case, it'll be going all to the end with this. So I think. So you've still got a way to go, which is just as well, because there's actually some stuff you need to tier up, like probably more money and stuff that you don't really have at the moment. Although with your 6 coin, that's a good start. So the next thing we're going to get onto, and actually let's talk about this. What are we doing with that coin? How are we splitting it? Because this time you could take one each and then put one in the stash, right?
I think that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes the best sense.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do that then.
Yep.
So each take one coin, and John, if you put one in for the keepers as well.
Yep.
And let's talk about your heat. Now.
Oh.
So I don't think that this could ever be called contained. Do you? In which case, the next one up is loud and chaotic. I think it got pretty loud and chaotic.
Definitely.
And that's 4 heat. It didn't happen on hostile turf. These are the pluses. You're not at war with anyone. It's add +2 heat if killing was involved. And I'm not going to add that. Or am I? Because...
Did we kill someone?
We killed some people. I killed somebody.
You don't know if you killed them.
I was trying to.
Sure, but that doesn't mean you did. I am going to roll 2 dice for the 2 people who... The old man and the sergeant you shot. I'm going to roll for them, and if either of these go 1 to 3, one of them died. Or they, maybe they both died, whichever. Okay, one of them did die. So that's an extra 2 heat.
Nice.
So that's 6 heat in total.
Right, we only have 5 left on our tracker. What happens?
Well, now...
do we get less heat?
It's when your heat reaches 9, something happens. Has it reached 9?
With prestige, we're officially
with
hot.
that 6, yes.
Okay. I have no problem with you engaging your crew... So your crew ability, your crew... thing, because you can take 1 point of heat off that during downtime, right? I'm happy for you to go for it. Sorry,
that would still leave it on 9.
Oh, right. Okay,
we're currently at 4. That would take us to 10.
Okay,
and then
well, either way. What happens is you gain a wanted level and clear your heat.
Yikes. Okay.
Is that what we do right now, or when we fill the tracker? Or have we filled the tracker?
You have filled. You've taken it to 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. I think I think the reason why it has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it only goes up to 9. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So you're now wanted level 1. So you can mark that on John.
Which confers all sorts of benefits.
Sure. Yeah. It just is. It's a judge of the response to your actions. So for now, nothing immediately happens. It's fine. So with that in mind, let's talk about entanglements. Which have kind of gone up a bit here, because I roll a number of dice equal to your wanted level, and use the result of the roll to select what sort of entanglement manifests. And before I was rolling 2 dice and picking the lower one, right? Because your wanted level was 0, but now I'm just rolling the 1. But your heat level is low, obviously. So, it'll be fine. It's not fine.
I'm just reading the book and it goes, the only way to reduce your wanted level is through incarceration. And I was like, oh, yeah.
It is on one of the only ways, yeah. Okay, I've got your entanglement and I know where I'm going to use it, so it's fine. With that in mind, let's get on to your downtime activities, shall we? And as usual, I think I'll roll a lovely die and go around you one by one and sort that downtime action. So we're going to start with Pierre.
Okay. Well, I think my first action, because I'm so... that was a stressful score. So I think I need to have a bit of a break from that. And so I'm going to seek out my preferred store of vices. Exquisite drug experience.
Yes, your exquisite drug experience that you have at Traven's Smoke Shop in Coleridge.
I love that place.
Absolutely. We did a scene there recently, and I don't have anything to particularly throw in. So yeah, you go see Traven, that enigmatic masked individual, and have just Just a lovely experience there in the rear chambers of the shop. So yeah, all you need to do is roll your weakest. Is it your weakest? Yeah, make an attribute roll using the character's lowest attribute rating.
Okay.
And
So
then
that's
clear
1.
stress equal to the highest die result.
Okay. So I got 2. So I'm clearing 2 stress.
Clearing 2
Nice.
stress. Huge, if true. So yeah, as you know, as drug experiences go, middling
Didn't
stuff.
have any new stuff.
No. Okay, let's see who's next. And we have Sam.
I'm also going to indulge my vice.
Just so many drapes are about to get bored.
Is it just drapes?
No, it's not just drapes. It's just kind of like fine anything with fine fabrics and tailoring clothes. And
maybe I'll get some new clothes this time. Maybe some of my old have got a bit of blood on them, and
yeah, especially after the last few scores.
Absolutely. So we're returning to Dundridge and Sons, your favoured shop in Night Market, to deal with Caslin Dundridge, one of the younger members of that illustrious family who warmly welcomes you and draws in with talk of new fabrics from the south that can be made into wonderful capes and sashes and things of this nature. Why don't you give me then? So yeah, that's your lowest attribute. Roll that, and the highest result is how much stress you take off.
Okay, I rolled a 4. Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah, tell us what did you go for, a cape or a sash? And tell us about the color of it as well. What does silver? What's in
the
this
customer
season
service?
for silver? Yeah.
I think I've gone for a cape, and I've gone for a cape
Badass.
that looks like silver, deliberately. You know, I'm trying to make a name for myself here. I want a silvery, kind of metallic-y
nice,
cape.
Understated.
I'm glad that's what you meant. That it was a silver color and not just it has you printed on it. Like
You're giving me
a friend
ideas
of mine
now.
many years ago had a duvet cover with the rock on like that, and I just had that, in my
Isn't
head.
that like the 80s equivalent of a body pillow?
First of all, fuck you for thinking it was the 80s. And secondly, it couldn't have been the 80s, Justin, because The Rock only became a significant wrestler in the very late 90s. So, yeah, just
take 5 stress.
Taking all the offense. Take 5 stress.
It was a duvet of Dwayne Johnson as a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's way
That's
worse than a
better.
modern body.
Not like
filler,
a
I
stool.
think.
Yeah,
God.
before he was famous. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So silvery cape acquired. Wonderful. Justin, you're up next.
I'm unsurprisingly also going to indulge my vice.
Also,
but I
gonna
have
indulge your vice.
2 dice now. 2 dice. Thanks to my recent experience splurge.
You are returning to Madame Teslin at the Red Lamp Brothel, who also offers some filthy, horrible drug services deep down in the basement. And maybe you can go there. Maybe you go pick up the payment for the last score and take a look at the coin in your hand and decide.
I don't know. I don't think I would. I think Three Sheets knows that it's not good to be under this amount of under the influence of these narcotics, and also
while having
carrying the company.
Fair enough. Well, then it is a visit later, and let's see how you do.
Right, 5. Fantastic.
Nice.
2 5s.
And no one's gone over the amount yet, have they? No.
No, I'm down
Good
to 1
stuff.
stress now.
All right.
8 stress.
All right, Bricks. How are you spending your first downtime activity?
Unsurprisingly, I'm going to be indulging my vice.
You are going to the fighting pits to beat the ever-loving crap out of some fool.
No. I'm just
Oh
gambling.
no, you're gambling.
Today.
Gambling is your vice.
Today.
Okay. So you're going there to bet your money on some fool.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way, hopefully have a good time watching people beat the shit out of each other.
Sure. You go into your favorite one, which is, I believe, in Dunslow, the one that Sergeant Velk runs from the prison nearby.
Yes. And I was wondering, what are the chances of Marlene having a fight?
Yeah.
If
Sure.
so, could I get a +1 dice for a contact being involved?
Can you do that with Vice?
Oh, maybe not. It's just the other stuff.
It's the other stuff, I think. Yeah. Because everyone has a contact with Vice, so it would be
Yep, fair enough.
A bit pointless.
I'm going to roll this one. 6.
Hey.
Oh, that's everything. That is perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. Great. Very, very good. All right, let's move on to our next round of downtime activities. Not all of which may be stress relief this time around, but who knows? Maybe for Echo. And it's Sam.
I think I'm going to carry on with the long-term project of the grinders.
Trying to make a contact. Yeah, a contact with the grinders. Well, tell us what action you're using for this.
I think consort still seems best.
I think that's a very good idea. So why don't you give us a consort roll and kind of tell us exactly what you're doing here? You know, where are you going, who you're talking to, and all that kind of thing. And I think it was a consort roll.
I guess we have to actually deliver our payment to the grinders to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe I would be the one to take that, and I'd just kind of give some details, maybe embellish slightly exactly how well we did on our score to earn this coin that we're handing over. How we took out 1,000,000 grey cloaks, and everything went perfectly smoothly with no
complications whatsoever.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds good.
And I got a 6 and a 1. So
6 and a 1. Well, a 6 gives you 3 segments on that particular clock, which I'll tell you doesn't complete it, but makes a lot of headway on it.
Nice.
You can see kind of various members of the grinders kind of like they seem to enjoy your story, and they're nodding along, and you see a couple of them like kind of share a look like, maybe these guys have got something, maybe they're not just idiots we rented a corner to. Maybe they're doing all right.
Silver is very pleased.
You may have made significant progress there. And next we've got Pierre.
I think I have to indulge that stress some more.
Absolutely.
After that first one, I think it was just a bit of a bad trip. So maybe I even I keep having these bad dreams about ghosts, I need more psychoactives to make me forget.
to bring you down. Yeah.
Yeah.
To make you just calmer and more logical about things.
Yes.
More visits to Traven Smoke Shop. Why don't you roll us up the result from that?
That was a 5.
Nice. That just brings you down to 1 stress, right?
Yeah, that is
nice. Pretty good.
Oh, that hits the spot.
That is very successful. And next we've got John again.
So what long-term projects do we have at the moment? It's the grinders.
You have the grinders, and also you have one to track down, maybe not the precise location, but basically to try and learn something about Steiner, the master assassin who somewhat thwarted one of your scores and seems to be something of a recurring nemesis to 3 sheets.
I think I'm going to...
Sorry, you did have another one as well, but that was completed. That was to get the access to the doctor.
Yep. I think I'm going to work on the grinders project. Because I hang around the docks a lot at the boxing ring. And I dare say, at least, and I used to be a sailor, so I dare say there's some sort of acquaintance there, or maybe drinking buddies / punching buddies.
Sure, absolutely. So what action are you going to roll for this?
If I want to try, I'm going to go for skirmish, and I'm going to try. Schmoozing is the wrong word because I'm doing it with my fists, but like some of the grinders who show up at the boxing ring, or maybe they just show up to watch, and I'm trying to be particularly impressive.
Impress them. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Okay. Absolutely. Well, why don't you give me a roll for that?
Okay. That is a 6.
Okay. Well, that's more than enough works to complete that. As you walk out of the ring at the fighting pits, kind of using a dirty rag to mop the blood off your knuckles, some of which is yours, you are accosted by one of the grinders. They tend to dress in a similar costume to other Leviathan Blood refinery workers, kind of long brown sort of oilskin smocks, and hair kind of like slicked or tied back to get out of the way of the horrible vicious manual labor that the refinery workers have to undertake. And one of them just kind of walks up over to you as you do so, and kind of stops in front of you to kind of bring you to a halt, and tucks his thumbs into kind of the pocket of this oilskin smock and says, Cersei will see you and the rest of you a week hence. He gives you an address to go to. If anyone wanted to note down for character purposes, that's Cersei spelled different from how you will have assumed it's spelled. Sercy. We're not copying characters from other franchises.
All right.
You have heard of Cersei as a member of the Grinders. So
yeah, I think we knew that their leader is Hutton, but it could be Cersei Hutton, I suppose.
No, they are two different individuals for sure.
Okay.
You're unlikely to be getting jobs. The status you are, you're unlikely to be getting jobs directly from the leader of the Grinders. But yeah, and you can put them down on your keeper's sheet as a new contact.
Nice.
You have a contact within the Grinders. So that's the wrong clock. I've already filled it in. Never mind. So Justin, final non-paid for downtime activity of the crew. What are you going to do?
Well, I wanted to reduce our heat, but there's no purpose to that anymore. We're already wanted. The only way that's going down is for me to get arrested. So turning myself in, I think that's what I'm going to do.
It's just giving up this life a crime.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, all right.
If you do it, I'll break into your cell and kill you.
Although the earlier we turn ourselves in, the earlier we get arrested, the less time we're arrested for. Yeah. So might be worth thinking about it. You know, which one of the groups going to take a fall? Is their first time offence? You know, they're not going to get very long.
Is there anyone in the group we all have some reason to want in jail?
Yeah. Sounds like 3 sheets to me.
Well, I can hack it. You know. So, I in terms of long-term projects, I'm also not really. I think 3 sheets is not going to investigate Steiner anymore until he has good reason to believe that they have some leads to go on, because he's kind of got to the point where he feels like he's done with that. You know, Steiner's uncatchable.
Sure. Yeah.
So instead, I think I want to start a new long-term project. Because do
you need to do any recovery?
A little bit, but I was willing to kind of wait until. Well, I could do that too. The other thing is Echo. Did you tell us about what you heard during the heist from that guy? about us not knowing who we worked for.
Yeah, while we were lighting up the place, I talked to all you guys about the guy who got away.
Well, I am fine working for absolutely appalling individuals, but I like to know who they are. So I would like to do some hunting for information about what the hell that was about. Like, you know, who are we? I don't mind working for absolute bastards, but like, at least tell me you're an absolute. At least, you know, I like to know the absolute bastard that I'm working for. You know, so I'm going to do some. I would like to do some digging and start a long-term project to find out who and why the bastard is.
Sure. I'm going to tell you right now that's a big clock, but absolutely. And why don't you tell me what action you're rolling to achieve that?
For now, I think I'm going to roll. I think hunt. You know, I'm hunting for clues, and I'm starting off at the brothel that we went to get the job, and asking around there. I'm already there often, you know, for my drug purveyances.
As you're hunting, maybe a good thing might be to hunt for Dalmor. Can we have mute discipline, please, folks? Because we're getting quite a bit of booming as well. Maybe hunting for Dalmor, the guy who you talked to, who paid you, because clearly he knows who.
Yeah,
who
exactly. Yeah. That's kind of how. Yeah, Dalmor will be the first port of call.
Sounds
so talk to Nirix and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. So give me that hunt roll then, please.
Okay, rolling 2 dice, and I rolled 3.
What your highest is 3?
3 and 2.
While you don't feel like you get too far with it, you do at least learn that Dalmor is a regular visitor of Nirix.
That's good.
You have something to start working from, but you know you didn't so much as see the guy. But hey, there we go. And give me an example of how you might have gone about this. Do you think you might have observed the door, maybe lurked on a nearby roof in Silkshore and kind of just to try to observe the brothel over the course of some hours, just to kind of look about the, scoping it out, things like that?
Yeah, I think I probably would have tried to kind of maybe engage lots of the sex workers at the brothel, and kind of hunt, like by having small conversations for snippets of information. Who Nirix's clients are, is she busy, that kind of thing, to see if I could get more information.
Absolutely, and that's what you do. I guess what I'm trying to get round to, though, Justin, is for you to tell me where you might be alone somewhere.
Like probably exiting or leaving the brothel. I think that would probably be, which I probably would do quite a lot if I'm spending a lot of time there, coming and going.
Sure.
So,
how about, because the brothel can only be reached by there are some streets on that little sort of, I believe I described it as kind of like a hill coming out of the canals. So you kind of have to get away from it more or less via waterways. So shall we have you punting maybe a small rowboat? Away from
definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, in that case, you're doing so, and kind of maybe vaguely, do you think frustrated or just kind of tired with your day's work and not feeling like you've particularly done much, and you're kind of punting away there in Silkshore. It obviously won't take that long to get back to the lighthouse, although we have agreed that you don't actually live there, so maybe you're going to your apartment, your hovel, whatsoever. It doesn't really matter.
No.
What matters is that as you're punting, and just kind of like maybe whistling a tune to yourself, or just ruminating over the day's events, you suddenly you stop whistling, and you're not entirely sure why, and then the hairs on the back of your neck start to rise up.
Knew it. Terrible.
You're punting past what seems to be a large, abandoned, burned out block of apartments, kind of maybe oddly even reminiscent of the ones that the Grey Cloaks were occupying, and you feel you don't want to look but you feel almost involuntarily your head begins to turn and your eyes roll upwards, and there is a horrific spectral figure, almost kind of glowing bluish white in the darkness, lurking kind of just by one of the broken windows on a top floor, kind of hair streaming out, kind of hovering and blowing slightly in a spectral wind. And as you're watching, they just lift one digit and point right at you. So,
bloody hell.
If you want to react to this in any way other than freezing up or fleeing as fast as you can, then you're going to have to make a resistance roll.
No, I like both of these options.
I will caveat that running as fast as you can means diving into the canal.
Is this my boat? Where's this boat?
I don't know. Where do you think you might have got a random boat from? So it depends. It can be. I guess it could be yours, or equally, it could be just one you've nicked.
Let's do it. Let's make the resistance roll.
Sure.
Why not?
For you to try and get away in a more controlled fashion.
Maybe. Well, we'll see what the resistance roll is.
Sure.
We'll see what we're.
Let me get the. Sorry, I didn't have a sheet up just to pick the correct. It's going to be resolve, isn't it? So I think you need to roll resolve here.
Fine by me.
And I think that will do. I also need my cheat sheet up. I don't know why I don't have that up. Yeah. So as always, you will manage to resist it, but your roll tells us, how much stress it costs you.
Got 3 and a 6.
6, that's great, right?
Yeah.
You manage to resist the urge to literally just plunge into the ice cold waters of the canal and swim your way to safety, and just manage to kind of. I'm assuming what you want to do is get away, but calmly.
No, because I thought that would be what I would do if I succeeded with taking some stress, but I seem to be in control of the situation, and so instead, what I would like to do is roll a tune. If I'm trying to figure out what this ghost wants, I think I'm looking this ghost straight in the eyes, and I'm like, this is terrifying, but I have not reacted with stress. I'm going to work out what's going on.
Do it.
Cool. So for a tune, I have no points, so I'm rolling 2.
You roll 2 dice and pick the worst. Yeah, that's the one. This is, by the way, I'm ruling this a desperate situation. So you're getting an XP for this, which is nice. Sorry, what did you roll?
I rolled 2 3s.
2 3s. Okay. Well, that is a failure.
Fantastic.
Now, I will tell you right now that you're going to take some harm for this. Do you want to have a resistance roll?
Yes.
Okay, then make another resistance roll.
What kind of resistance roll? The same thing, resolve?
No, this is prowess.
That's even better. I rolled 4, 5, and a 6, so I'm just doing great today.
That is doing great. So you rolled a failure in that attune. So what I'm judging essentially happens is you maybe pole the kind of boat still and kind of stare. Tell me how you're attuning with the ghost. Are you doing it are you trying to connect to it, or are you literally just trying to talk to it? What do you want with me?
I think I'm kind of staring at it while whispering as many oaths under my breath as possible, kind of like, just over and over again, any kind of protective sea shanty style ward, any phrase or anything that I can think of to protect myself from this thing, while kind of trying to stare it down.
And kind of try and psych it out almost, maybe.
Yeah.
This doesn't work. You're kind of stood there, kind of like you can feel your grip kind of shaking on this, the pole you've been using to make your way along the canals. And as you watch the whatever it is, this fragment of someone's soul, long left bereft within the walls of Duskval, you feel almost like there's just a twinge of connection between you and this, and then it starts gliding down through the wall, through the window towards you, hands outstretched, and it almost feels like the arms are longer than they should be as it reaches for you, and you give out an involuntary kind of and just topple off the back of the boat.
Fair.
You swim your way desperately to the shore in the ice cold water and pull yourself out, shockingly feeling no ill effects from this. You look back round, the boat is bobbing in the canal. Of the ghost, there's no sign.
Win. I'm just gonna slop my way back home.
Sounds good.
This is the second ghost encounter I've had that I've ended up completely soaked.
Absolutely. It's worth noting, by the way, in case you hadn't already guessed, you definitely, although it's difficult to kind of perceive the ghosts because they almost feel like kind of, tears in reality. Again, you get the very distinct impression this is the ghost that chased you last time and the ghost that accosted you in Echo on the roof in that very first score.
I'll try something different next time, I think.
Maybe it wants something. So that was your entanglement, in case you hadn't guessed. And that is all your normal downtime activities. However, if anyone wants to, they can pay for some extra downtime activities. And you do that by either spending coin, either yours or the keeper's, or spending some of the keeper's rep. So is anyone intending to do any of that? Anyone want to do any healing or anything?
Nope.
I think I'm going to save money. It hurts me to say it, though.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That sounds like everything then. So, with that in mind, folks, we can wrap up our downtime activity, and that includes some XP for us all. Justin, hopefully, did you remember to note the XP for that desperate roll? Yeah. Great. In that case, we have to talk about the XP from the last time. And let's try and do this quite quickly because I'm not sure how entertaining this is for folks on stream. So basically, I don't even think we need to talk about it. It's your judgment. Let's just, use your judgment to do stuff. So you need to mark the following XP with 1 if you feel it happened at all, or 2 if it happened a lot. They can be marked on any XP tracks you wish, or split between them. And this is for the score and the downtime. Although I don't think we did much with the downtime other than Justin's scene there. So you need to mark it for your playbook specific XP trigger, whatever your class's trigger is. You need to mark it if you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background in any way during the score and the downtime, or if you struggled with issues from your vice or trauma during the score or the downtime. And for each of those, 1 if it happened at all, 2 if it happened a lot. And I'm going to give it monitoring these because I probably shouldn't anyway because it's your choice. So you guys just note that down and you let me know when you're done and we'll move on. And in the meantime, I'll desperately try and entertain these filthy masses.
I am done.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Nice. Oh, and there's crew XP as well, right? Which I think I do have a bit more input into, or at least it doesn't say that I don't. And as you know, anytime I get to stick my oar into how things work, why would I be a GM? Can anyone remember where the crew XP is in the bloody PDF?
Did we acquire any? So do we start off by? Do we execute a successful smuggling?
Sure.
Operation
where is this, Justin?
I'm just looking on the cheat sheet, on the
sheet. On the sheet as well. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So successful smuggling or acquire new clients or contraband sources. I'd say we maybe acquired a new client.
Yeah, I think you did during that downtime, right? So you can take an XP for that.
The
score itself wasn't smuggling related, but you did get a new client. Yeah.
Do we contend with challenges above our current station?
Yes.
Did we bolster our crew's reputation or develop a new one? I mean,
you did. You got reps, so yeah.
Did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of our crew?
Again, all we really have for you guys is was it daring? And the thing is, I think like it kind of this will sound weird. It kind of ended up sort of being, but not intentionally. So should that? I don't know, but I definitely think you've got at least 3 XP there. What do you guys think for the last one, for the goals and drives and blah blah blah? I don't think the score itself particularly matched your crew's goals, if you see what I mean. It was just kind of a random job, right? But
I just googled daring, and it says adventurous or audaciously bold.
Was it? I don't know if it was.
I don't know if it was. I think
no, I don't think it was.
I think maybe knocking out the staircase above a bunch of
sure, but it's like I think it's less individual. I think audaciously bold would have just been running in through the tobacconists, kicking the living shit out of everyone there, and then something direct and I don't know, or very risky, which you didn't feel so much. But I don't know. But it's up to you. Argue back.
I think if it's based on like the plan we had and the score we had, I would say no. Like if I think we did some daring actions during it, but if it's like based on the overall kind of ideas, I don't think we did.
Agreed.
I think so, because otherwise it's almost always gonna be because someone is gonna try something. But I think 3 XP is good anyway, right? 3 XP is pretty
successful.
It's
great.
And we filled up our tracker.
Okay. So let's have a look. Do we have a page for how it's spent? Very definitely kind of struggling to find this information in here. Let's have a look at the index, because that's always good, right? Crew advancement, page 49. 49. Thrilling viewing here. Crew advancement. Okay. When you fill up your crew advancement tracker, clear the marks and take a new special ability or mark 2 crew upgrade boxes.
Okay.
So lots of those. I remember us looking at those smuggler special abilities. A lot of them are real good, and a lot of them are not only real good but better the quicker you get them as well. Like the one that's just like during downtime, one of your cohorts can do a downtime activity. That's pretty damn good. There's one for whenever you gain rep, gain +1 rep. That's also pretty damn good.
That sounds dangerous as well.
Each player character may add +1 action rating to finesse, prowl, or skirmish. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So those are good ones. But hey, do the upgrades if you want.
Can you spend experience to gain like turf, or is that not?
No, turf you do through scores. You have to actually say we want to get this turf, and obviously you've got the turf sort of turf chart there. I tell you what. Let me share your thing. Good words. I have them. So here is the that's what it's called, claims, and you basically have to do scores to try and claim a bit of turf, and you start obviously with your lair here, which is your lighthouse, and then you have to proceed. I think you don't have to proceed directly along the lines here, but I think I am encouraged to make it harder if you want to skip things. That makes sense?
Yeah.
If you want to go straight for secret routes, I'll be it's meant to be 3 away, so that's going to be real tough. But I believe that's how turf works, is that you have to get it through the course of the game rather than buying it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would be into some upgrades, even though the special abilities are great, because we are always trying to hide our vehicle, and camouflage sounds quite good. And
could we buy another vehicle with the upgrade, or do we have to do long-term projects or acquire assets?
Yes, I think so.
I think we can buy a vehicle.
I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I think so, yeah, because the crew upgrades is this section here, right? And does this count as them too?
Yeah.
This section?
The ones up top are the smuggler-specific ones. The ones underneath are the generic ones.
So yeah, you could get other vehicles, I think. So yeah, obviously this crew is allowed to get up to 4 vehicles, I think is the idea. Presumably, I don't know.
I feel like we could use a land-based vehicle at times. I don't know,
like a horse.
Well,
like a stagecoach
car,
or something.
A car or a carriage or something like that. I feel like sometimes not everything we're going to smuggle is going to be. It just gives us more options, but I don't know. I feel like that camouflage is also a pretty solid.
I mean, you get up to 2 upgrades, so you could get a stagecoach and camouflage.
Guys. What about what about a bit of extra coin from side business? Is that possible? Oh no, we can't get that.
We could. It would be very. Oh no, that you need a score for that.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's a claim, no. If it's no, claims aren't bought through.
Okay. So I'm saying my vote is for core upgrades. That's where I stand. Let's make a decision, people.
I'm happy with upgrades rather than the abilities.
I'll be honest, I can't see the thing well, so I'll trust you. Let's go for that. Let's go for that. Let's go for whatever.
Yeah, I'm up for upgrades.
Okay. Easy peasy.
So we go in then for another vehicle, for a stagecoach or something along those lines. And camouflage, which means all your vehicles are concealed at rest. So no more rolls to have to conceal them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay. Mark those down then, please, John. And then we are done. And we can go on to another score. So you were presented with a number of scores from the last... since the last one, because I give you a kind of selection to choose from, and you chose one that's been available for a short while now, but it's the first time you've chosen to take it, and essentially you have an appointment with Valeris, who is, I believe, Justin's friend, a handsome and rather gracious spy who tends to hang out around the docks, passing out information and offering his services for a not inconsiderable amount of coin, and who owes, I think it's fair to say, probably owes 3 sheets, maybe a couple of favors, something like that, for some distinctly unpleasant service proffered in the past. And he has expressed that, in his opinion, the Bill Hooks, a gang who you've had some confrontation with in the past, seem to be moving quite a lot of money around at the moment. And it would be entirely feasible for a group of individuals who are so concerned about it to maybe move some of that coin out of circulation, so to speak, and remove access from the Bill Hooks for this these goods and precious items. And I think it's fair to say that the keepers are quite interested in that happening.
Definitely.
Yeah, screw those Bill Hooks.
All right. So why don't we tell you what? Let's pick up. Let's have a meeting with Valeris, and let's have that meeting. I'm gonna roll a random place to have this meeting here, because why not? And we are going to have this meeting in a wonderful. We are going to have this meeting in a goat stables.
Yes, that's where I always meet Valeris.
You walk into it as a crew and look around, and your eyes kind of like take a short while to adjust to the darkness. There's a lot of fencing inside this kind of large, airy wooden building, and a lot of kind of fuzzy forms moving around. There's a very, very distinct smell about this place, and everything you say and do is undercut with this the occasional kind of noise, the bleating of the goats, which is the sequel to Silence of the Lambs. And as you walk through, you can see up ahead of you, as I say, your eyes adjust, and you can see Valeris sat with his customary big, thick greatcoat, a bored expression on his annoyingly handsome face. He's kind of like just kind of tipping back on a barrel and staring up at like a gap in the roof through which some light is coming. And as you watch, he kind of flicks one side of his hair to the back. You're almost certain he knows you're there. He's just trying to be stylish. Justin,
how old is Valeris?
you're not entirely sure. He kind of could be any age from kind of a very young 20s through to even maybe a very well-seasoned early 50s. It's very difficult to tell.
Right, fine. Valeris, my old chum.
He lets the barrel kind of come to rest underneath him and turns to you and says, "The keepers and 3 sheets, of course." Pull up a barrel.
I do so.
I'm busy with one of the goats clicking, I'm like scratching its head and being like, "You're a good boy. You're a good boy." And it's going to take a lot to take me away from this goat. It's my friend.
Absolutely. I mean, Echo obviously naturally drawn to anything that feels slightly demonic. So there we go.
Had to
go there. Goat shaming. So
these goats back in Tykeros.
Yes. So are the other 2 of you presumably pulling up a barrel as Valeris suggests?
I am pulling up the barrel as far away from the goats as possible.
Silver is making a big effort to try and not get her new cape completely covered in just goat shit.
That would suck. That would really suck.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd love that we've got the whole panoply of goat liking and goat hating among this. Among this crew. As you sit down on those barrels, Valeris nods and leans over kind of conspiratorially, kind of addressing it primarily to 3 sheets, but also to the general group, and says, "So, word has it on the street that you are fine, upstanding individuals who wouldn't mind liberating some precious things from the possession of the brutal and vicious billhooks, who, while we are all gentlemen of mischief here, are clearly people who should not be encouraged to be gaining any more purchase around the docks."
Spits on floor, billhooks.
I couldn't have expressed it better myself, 3 sheets. So, what do you know about the billhooks' activities at the moment? You can feel free to make up things. I some of them, I might take some of them even as true, or say no, or say that you know nothing. Whatever you want.
We see them loitering around all the time, in, the docks, fermenting all kinds of anarchy. They were there at that riot, remember? Encouraging all kinds of misbehaviour. Doesn't make it easy for us to do our work if the Joe public are up in arms, ready to smash your face in.
Causing a great deal of trouble. And doesn't it seem odd to you that the Bluecoats didn't particularly come down on them hard for it?
Yeah.
There were no raids. None of them were picked up. Almost as if they've got connections.
It's just not fair when someone knows anyone from the Bluecoats. Obviously not you, Silver. Or is it Echo? Who has the Bluecoat connection?
That is Echo.
I shoot you as you mentioned that, I shoot you like an incredibly dirty look.
I mean, it was nice to have had a Bluecoat contact,
but now that we don't, anyone who does is filth. Yeah, until we
absolutely have one. Valeris kind of shakes his head in kind of agreeing with this attitude, and says, "Well, one of the reasons they're spreading money around is because they have some contacts among the legal system in Charter Hall, specifically magistrates, and even more specifically, magistrates who might have the inclination and ability to reduce the sentence of Tarvel. Tarvel's from before your time. He's the leader of the Billhooks. He's in prison, and they want him out. And they're spending quite a bit of cash to make that happen. Do you feel like throwing a stick in that particular wheel?
If this Tarvel got out, they might get organised. Then they might start looking at us and thinking of all the things we've said about them, and that wouldn't be good.
They might. And then Tarvel might indulge in his favourite hobby of stringing you up, cutting all the tendons in your body while you're hanging there, and then letting you go to flop around the boards of the docks until you bleed out.
At mention of that, I think I will really pointedly continue showing affection to this goat, and I'm kind of hiding my face.
So they've got a meeting with a magistrate's assistant at Gaddock rail station. 2 days' time. I can give you the time. I can give you the place in the rail station they're doing it. It's entirely up to you how you do it, but that money clearly has to come either off the bill hooks or off the magistrate, or both. It's up to you. They're going to meet very briefly, and then they're going to go their separate ways.
Are you expecting the bill hooks to pay the magistrate as part of this long-term plan?
It's the magistrate's assistant. I would assume that the money is going then up to the magistrate, and she's going to be more on board.
Sounds very interesting indeed.
I'm afraid I don't have any more information than that. But would you like some advice? I'd rather tumble with the magistrate's assistant and their bodyguards than the bill hooks. But it's up to you. Maybe you want to make it personal. Maybe you want to remove a couple of hooks from circulation. Not my business. I'm just a broker. And he kind of stands up and gets a kind of coin out of his pocket, flips it up in the air, catches it, and says, 3 sheets. You look awful. Get yourself a drink. Tosses you the coin.
Cheers, Valeris.
Let's say this is like the day after the encounter with the spirit.
Right. Yeah. My clothes only just dried.
Yeah, exactly. Looking a bit worse for wear there. Valeris sort of starts whistling oddly the same tune you were whistling yesterday, and turns and walks out of the goat stables.
Oh, finally, some chance for some good work.
Will feel nice to get back at the bill hooks, especially if it thwarts their plans as well.
Yeah.
We can't let Tarvel out.
I reckon he's probably there for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, indulging in that hobby that Valeris mentioned would probably be at least one. The rudimentary information of this is not, Valeris just likes the sound of his own voice. You know who Tarvel is. You know that Tarvel's in prison, and you know that the billhooks want him out of prison. What you didn't know is that they were making some headway with that. So,
great.
Okay, so are we going to? Let's see if we can
plan
scout.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to get some extra information with some rolls and stuff. Let's do the thing. Why don't you give me what you're after and give me what action rolls you're making to do it?
Actually, do we have to plan first, or is it?
Well, I think it can happen at the same time, right? You plan and you do this. I just think I think doing it early on is better, because then you can plan quicker, if that makes sense, and be more informed. Because we're meant to make the planning part punchy, right? So, but you can talk around a bit first. Go for it.
I have an idea. But you go first, Pierre.
So the thing that Valeris said about our contact, about the magistrates being the softer target, I think I would be inclined to go for that as well. And
my thought is, if the billhooks pay the money, but then the magistrates has to take an incident afterwards, then the magistrate might still feel like they're under pressure from the billhooks to provide a service because it was on their end they messed up. I think that to a degree we have to make it look like the billhooks never succeeded in the payment, but we could do that by accosting the magistrate's assistant before they get there and then attending the meeting ourselves as if we were the magistrate's assistant, collect the money and just walk out.
I agree with that plan.
So the assistant couldn't make it, new assistant, that kind of thing. Take the money and go.
As long as we can pull off that kind of disguise, but yeah.
Look, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a hell of a plan. I also think there are big risks involved in it. Not the least of which is that some of the billhooks will know what the keepers look like.
Yeah,
and especially, probably, mostly Silver, because Silver's the one who gets out there. People know who Silver is. Silver's a slide. I'm not saying don't do it. I just wanted to throw that into the ring. That's all. You do what you want.
I think
I like the plan, but my concern obviously is, I think we should intercept the payment before the magistrates get it, because that way the billhooks can't say, "Oh, we paid you. It's not your fault that you didn't."
I think there's definitely swings and roundabouts there. I agree with Pierre and with Valeris that taking on the magistrate's assistant is probably a lot better than taking on the billhooks. I also agree with Justin that there's a possibility that if you take it from the magistrate's assistant, the billhooks might still have some sway, or maybe that causes more conflict between them. Who knows? Lots of moving parts.
I think that assumes a certain amount of honor in the magistrates that might not necessarily be present.
I think fear, though.
I think part of the problem with delaying the magistrates and then going to the billhooks is that means we are known to both parties, which complicates matters, and also it effectively introduces two separate plans. Whereas I think maybe we need to keep it streamlined and just pick a half. Maybe.
Just not as a planning thing. I just like to survey the rail station, like the location that this guy has described, to see what it's like.
Absolutely. I think that's a perfect role to make at this point. So just, it's a controlled role. Why would it not be? You're just having you've all been to Garrick rail station. While rail travel is kind of a bit on the pricey side, most people have taken a journey on the Electra rail. So why don't you give me a control survey roll, please? Echo, does anyone want to help with that for stress? Or I'm not really interested in offering any devil's bargain, especially not in these preparatory roles. Anyone want to assist? Do you want to push yourself, etc.?
I think I'm just going to go for it neat, unless anyone's going to assist me, which I don't think they are. So I'm going to go for it. I rolled a 3.
Oh dear.
So I'm gonna say that what happens there.
Oh God.
Okay, I guess this will be kind of telegraphing it a little bit. What the complication is, because obviously I have to introduce some complication here. You have a look around Garrick rail station. It's as you remembered it being. It's busy and smells foul, and the air is kind of thick with the choking smog of the Electro rails, and kind of also redolent with kind of ozone from the crackles of lightning that spark off the great machines there. And you make your way around, and you feel pretty comfortable with where it is. You scout out the specific platform that you were told to scout out. And yeah, I mean, it's one among many platforms. It seems maybe a little less busy than the others, which is probably a good thing. There's not a huge amount to say about it. There are some, like the entire station is covered by a kind of massive ironwork, almost kind of like skeletal ironwork thing that's open to the skies above for the most part, but does have kind of some sort of girders and walkways and stuff like that across it. So there are kind of sneakier positions you could be, but they'd certainly be very difficult to get between them and the platforms fast. And on the platforms themselves, you can stand and not be observed. There are enough people around. There's kind of, great iron stanchions and pillars leading up that you can lurk behind. There's lots of places to hide. But in turn, that means it's also quite an open environment. So yeah, and that's what I'm going to tell you. But you have taken consequences.
Okay. I always wonder, could those theoretically be resisted?
The consequences from failing something.
Yeah.
It's tough on this, isn't it? Specifically, because it's like, well, then I could just go, oh, you don't know.
I suppose.
Which is
weird.
I
could also just be like, I try and resist this very difficult, this, could be minor, could be massive complication.
I'll tell you what, if you want to resist it, you can resist it. And if you want to resist, okay. It's a weird thing where with some of the resisting, because basically people only decide whether to resist after they find out what the consequences are, which means it feels like retconning some of the time. Because I'll go, this happens, and you're like, I'm definitely resisting that, and then you resist it, and it's like, that doesn't happen. This is the result instead, which is a bit weird sometimes.
Should we decide whether we're going to resist or not before we hear? Or
I'm not sure that's fair, because it's like you don't know the extremity of the complication or the harm or something like that. I think I am meant to tell you at least roughly what it's going to be like, whether it's a complication or harm or whatever. And it's tough to do that without talking about it in some way, if that makes sense. I don't know. If people have feedback on how we might do that, then throw it in the chat.
Yeah. Just regarding this thing, I was wondering if it might be useful for us to. No, sorry. I was just thinking about entrances and entrances and exits to this railway station, but I imagine there's lots.
There are lots, and as always with Blake, don't overthink it. You don't have to go, we're going in here and we're doing that. You just we need at the beginning is your rough plan, and that's something for a flashback, really. If you want to, I know where the exit is because I'm going to take a flashback to get there quickly or whatever.
My last kind of thing is that I think if my other plan would be to steal the money before the handover. That's my preference, but I'm happy to be outvoted on that one.
I still like the idea of Silver loves the idea that it would humiliate the billhooks if they directly paid us the money and we just walked off with their money, and it's she thinks that would just be such a great story to tell, how we go on it, the billhooks just gave us their money. It's the daring. Idiots.
This is definitely daring. I'll say that.
Do they know our cohort, our reavers?
There's a chance.
Could we get away? Could we go with the kid? He's always looking to move up.
If you want to use him, you absolutely can do. But there is a chance that they do, because you're all just you hang around the docks all the time. I would also say it's also worth noting that your cohort has the qualities unreliable and wild. So I just throw that in. Again, is your choice. I just wanted to make sure you have all the information.
Why did we choose such terrible cohorts?
I think I'm being swayed by 3 sheets in silver. I think this is a fun idea. We probably just need a bit of backup in case Silver gets caught. Maybe Silver should do some preparation in terms of getting a disguise together or figuring out a way that they're not going to recognize her.
A slide item, just so you know, is a fine disguise kit.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure.
Okay. You've got.
So in terms of like, and I don't want to again go into like fine detail on this. So the idea, the thrust of the plan, because it sounds like 3 of you are going for this now. So it sounds like, in the interest of moving forward, let's not care about what John thinks. The plan in general is to somehow waylay or delay the magistrate's assistant beforehand. And I would say at this point, you have no idea who the magistrate's assistant is or how they'll be arriving at the rail station, just where the meeting is. The idea is to waylay or delay or somehow replace them and make them meet with the billhooks, get the billhooks to just hand you the cash and then walk away. So, with that in mind, and in the quickest and simplest way possible, how are you aiming to achieve that?
We can
Specifically, how are you waylaying or what? How are you replacing them?
Well, we should gather info to find out what the assistant looks like, and then, as they're leaving their office that day, follow them and waylay them.
Sure. You don't know who the magistrate's assistant is.
Is
Do we
there?
know who the magistrate is? Then we can kind of go there and.
You didn't ask.
Okay.
Can I flash back and do that?
Yeah.
By taking is it 2 stress?
How many? Is it 1 to 2 stress? I think
it's 2 if it's a complicated thing.
And 1 is kind of a straightforward thing. Yeah.
Isn't this a gather information just prior to like this is the planning phase, right?
Yeah, but how? Like how do you find out who the magistrate? Like, if you can give me a reasonable way how you would find out who the magistrate secretly dealing with the billhooks is, then fair enough. But like, I think you've got to have some degree of a reasonable thing that you could find out. And I think honestly, for like, and I'm only going to charge 1 stress for it because I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing for you to have said in that scene is, and who's the magistrate, because he was talking about the magistrates. So yeah, just take 1 stress, 3 sheets. The magistrate's name is, and I picked it earlier because she's a character in the book, is Lady Drake.
Perfect.
So how are you going to find out what the magistrate like? I smell a hunt roll coming up. Yeah. You're going to make a hunt roll to try and find what the magistrate's assistant looks like and sort of. Yeah.
And specifically because I have scouts, when I gather information to locate a target, I get +1 effect. I think this is exactly what that is.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. It's also a controlled situation. I think, they're not suspicious that they're about to be tracked down. So go ahead and make your hunt roll. Is anyone going to assist or anything like that?
I was going to assist.
You're going to assist? Okay, take that. Is it 1 stress to assist? 2 stress?
Yes.
1 stress. Yeah, so take another die, please, Justin.
Fantastic. I get a 5.
That's great. So, you tell me how you and Brix manage this. So the magistrate's offices, as all magistrates are, is in Charter Hall, which is a relatively well-maintained part of Doskvol with quite grand old buildings. It used to be basically the town of Doskvol, which is now kind of moved on, but it's still got a lot of kind of old stone buildings with kind of like large pillared fronts, like kind of city hall type buildings and courts and things like that. Why don't you tell me how you and Brix go about this?
I think like maybe Brix goes in claiming to have an issue for the magistrates and seeks to talk to the magistrate's assistant. That way we identify who the assistant is, and then I tail the assistant to wherever once Brix has identified them, I then follow them after the event to work out what their habits are and things like that.
I like that. I like that a lot. So
I get 1 +1 increased effect, as I said, from my scout.
Yes, you do, which I'd say makes it great. So yeah, you go and engage in this. Brix, what spurious reason do you have to try and go and talk to the magistrate's assistant? The master of deception, Brix.
I'm gonna go and complain about the amount of rubble and potholes on Saltfoot Street.
Sure.
Someone's always shining a light to help you walk by. Make sure you don't fall in one.
There are just bricks all over the place, and you kick them. And I have a friend who almost twisted her ankle when we were there for completely legitimate reasons.
Sure. So you managed to do this. The magistrate's assistant brushes you off extremely quickly, but you still manage to gain access to her. She is a small, quite kind of slight woman, very fair-haired, with quite moderately distinctive glasses and a kind of soft knitted cap, which is a bit unfashionable. And you get the impression that perhaps Lady Drake doesn't pay her particularly well. So there's that, and that's the information you get from just kind of seeing her. 3 sheets. When you tail her, one thing becomes immediately apparent, which is that she seems to have 2 bodyguards who go around with her almost all of the time.
Great. Not a problem.
And if that's the case, you would imagine you would be very, very surprised indeed if they did not accompany her to a meeting with vicious gangsters. So there's that. She lives in Charter Hall. That's basically
whatever the plan was going to be. It would always involve dealing with her, because either we'd take the money up afterwards or whatever. So I think we're not to be perturbed.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to say because you had a 5, you have to have something off the edge of that. I'm going to say that you got the slight distinct impression a couple of times that she may have spotted you following her.
Sure.
Maybe have some suspicions about you. Kind of just turned a couple of times to peer at you cautiously. Cool. But that was it. Basically, it puts you in a risky position for your next roll with it. That's all.
So we have identified who the person is. We know where they work. We know the kind of issue we're going to deal with around that, which are the 2 bodyguards.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a reasonable stand-in for them. And we in the disguise kit, we can probably include clothes that look vaguely similar, so that Silver can get dressed up.
Yeah,
sound like a plan? I think it's a plan.
I think that sounds like a plan. So the question here is now, and I think we are approaching our first roll here and kicking off the score. So here's the question. I feel like for a start, what we have to say is, so let's have a look at how the score is starting. So how are we taking out these individuals? How are we removing them from the picture? Are we conning them? Are we attacking them? Anything like that? So now we have the magistrate's assistant, her 2 bodyguards. They need to be dealt with in one fashion or another so that you can take their place and go to this meeting. And that's where we're going to start, because it sounds like the majority of this score may be that bit, not even the bit with the bill hooks at the station, right? So how are we going about that? And let's think of that in terms of the types of score. So assault, deception, stealth, occult, probably not. Social, or probably not transport, which is sort of your raison d'etre, right? How are we going about that? And then let's throw ourselves into the score.
Just do magistrates and magistrates assistants in Duskwell wear particular magistrate and magistrate assistant uniforms or clothes?
Yes.
Okay, I think we need to take this person, because otherwise we don't have any magistrate assistant clothes.
Could we acquire? Okay, sure.
Yeah. You have a disguise kit.
Yeah, I do have this.
I think you could we could definitely do a flashback or something to get your hands on those clothes if you wanted. I don't think I think that's something we could work around a number of ways. I think the fundamental question is are you doing this via? Are you doing it via violence? I mean, looking at the list, assault, deception, and social seem like the 3 that could potentially address this. Which of them do we think is the angle we're taking here?
I think deception. If possible, rather than fighting them, we could, because that probably would involve killing them, and that's quite a lot of heat.
You could delay them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's absolutely great. In which case, the question we have to ask, that we have to answer, and off the back of that, we'll make our engagement roll and go straight on with the score, is the method of deception. How are you deceiving them?
To get to the station, do they have to pass over any choke points, like bridges, or take a ferry, or something like that, where we could say at that point we could easily hold up
quite possibly, but that's an answer for the engagements role to answer. You tell me what you want, how you want to do it, and your role will determine how well you are set up to do it at the beginning.
I mean, an idea I had was trying to like pickpocket the magistrate and then run, which might distract the guards possibly. We love distractions here. No, I mean obviously not getting caught is going to be the tricky bit there. But
the thing is, would like a small issue like that be enough to distract these people from receiving a huge amount of cash in a briefcase?
Yeah, I guess I guess the deception could be
like we could like don't know.
Could we just pretend to be a billhook somehow and be like, the meeting's tomorrow now?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I mean, it's a pretty good idea. With multiple disguise gets a big involved now, but I love it.
I was thinking that I could try and stall her with continuing to complain about potholes or whatever.
Yeah. What about if we we come along as a doctor and she has some terrible medical issue that must be dealt with right now, and we're going to take her away to like deal with this medical issue.
A medical issue that she is not aware of in any way.
Oh, you have the curse on
that
you.
That does feel like a hard sell.
That's a hard sell. Okay, probably easier to sell it with bill hooks. I'm liking this plan.
I'm getting the feeling that we're not actually criminal masterminds.
So the bill hooks thing certainly seems like the one that got the best reaction from the group. So how about we go with that? So you are gonna you are gonna double disguise this situation. You are going to disguise yourselves as bill hooks, or attempt to, and then try and say the meeting's off, or meetings not until tomorrow now, or whatever,
or in a different place.
Yeah, and the thing is, because of the nature of the score, I don't want to spread this out. Why don't we? I think this has to happen on the way to it, right? Because otherwise, we're getting into like too complex a situation. So with that in mind, are you intending to do this deception and then immediately get to the meeting place, desperately changing it? Or are you splitting into two groups to do two separate disguise deceptions?
Well, I think the group that does the deception, I think, can then immediately double back to the station. But yes, I think splitting up makes sense. And I think that I could be a bill hook because I could have been tailing her if she's noticed me, because I'm saying I'm checking you out. I've been making sure that you're, legit, but whatever. Nice. So I will be the bill hook.
Okay.
I think we want Silver to be deceiving the bill hooks.
Sure. Cool. This sounds good. So you're splitting up. So two of you are dealing with the bill hooks, and two of you are dealing with the magistrate's assistant, and hopefully each of those different things. So we have 3 sheets with the magistrate and Silver with the bill hooks. What about Bricks and Echo? How is that split happening?
I mean, I think that Bricks could be a stand-in for a bodyguard quite easily, but then
equally a bill hook.
I guess part of that, I think, in terms of what Brick can bring to the table, Brick is useful in both situations. The question is, where is Echo most useful?
Yeah, I'm not that useful.
But you could lurk in the train station.
C. Or Plan B.
I'm probably better for.
And you did scope out the train station, so
I'll go for the train station. With
Let's
Silver.
do that then. And we're wonderfully split down the middle of the actual screen on this. Okay, that's great. The only one thing I'd ask, because I think it's only good for Sam, because Sam did bring up the light disguise and stuff. Do you want to do anything like that via rolls or flashbacks during the score, Sam, or do you want to make a pre-roll for disguises in any way?
I think I'd probably do it before we left to the score. I think I'd leave my house looking like a magistrate's assistant. And
why don't you
3 sheets look
why
like
don't
a
you tell me what action roll you're going to make for that?
Okay, I have a fine disguise kit which I'll add to my loads since that.
So that'll add to the effect, I think. So
yeah, I think so. Maybe finesse is the right one for putting on a disguise, or like, I don't know.
Is it not more acquiring the right things, or I don't know?
Yeah, I suppose for the magistrate's assistant, I guess anybody, like billhooks probably don't require that much like stuff to look like a billhook, but maybe for the magistrate's assistant, it's like you got to get the correct clothes and
sure.
Stuff.
So did we settle on a sway roll there?
Yeah,
to try and just persuade people to lend you the right gear and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's fine. And with your Find Disguise kit, that I think that'll raise the effect to great. I think it's a controlled roll for sure. So why don't you give me that sway roll? Anyone going to assist, or
I'll assist.
Yeah, I think you know some people who might have the right kind of knitted woolen cap that we're after.
Yeah, yeah. One of the other people at my drug den.
Sure. Drug den's full of nicely knitted woolen caps. So take a stress echo and then take an extra die, Sam, and let's make that roll.
Okay. I got a 4 as my best result.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, you succeed. You manage a reasonable facsimile of a magistrate's assistant. You incorporate the glasses and the little woolen cap that Bricks and Three Sheets described to you. And basically all I'm going to do, because it's a reasonable facsimile but not spot on, all I'm going to say is, and remember this, basically when you make your roll to deceive the bill hooks, it's going to be in a risky state.
Okay.
So just remember that, because that's your consequence from this.
Yeah.
Unless you want to try and resist it.
And
when I say try and resist it, you will resist it. It'll just give you stress to do so.
I'll resist it. I think this is important to be...
Yeah, that's fair enough. You're concentrating and giving just that little bit of extra time on the disguise to try and get it just so. The resistance roll for that will be, I think, insight.
Okay.
I think insight is right, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So make that insight roll, please.
Okay. I got a 6 and a 5.
Yes.
So yeah, you take the extra time needed. Kind of, you look at yourself in the dirty, grimy mirror in your kind of silks and drapes washed hovel, and just not quite right. And you spend an extra hour or so just getting the right touches there, and you think you've got it. You think you've got it spot on now. So with that in mind, time for the engagement roll, I think. So let's have a look at that. I think that's just a fortune roll, right? Yeah. With advantages and disadvantages. So you start off with 1 die for free. Do we feel like we have any particular advantages or disadvantages? Because I can name a couple. Why don't you argue me some advantages?
I mean, we've spoken to, we've scouted out both sides of these things, and the location. I don't know if that's, we know the terrain.
We know, like,
absolutely. That's why you're getting a disadvantage.
we know the ins and outs of the motivation of the players involved. It's not like we're walking a situation blind. Like, we know, like, when we're having our conversations, we know why the money's going. We're going to be informed on all of those things. We'll be able to say, oh, look, we'll be able to bring in information like about is it Tarol?
Yep. You got. I'll take that as a thing. You don't need to persuade me any further. Cool. So you're up to 1 again. I am going to throw in an extra disadvantage because I think you are recognizable to all the players in this in some fashion, potentially, because the assistant spotted you tailing her, and the bill hooks may know what you look like. So you're down to 0 again. Because 2 and then the worst, right?
Oh, it's tough, guys.
Any other advantages?
Can we get advantage for the fineness of a disguise kit, or is that later?
That's going to feature into your disguise roll, I think, rather than.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't think of anything particularly. And like are these like advantages that we have by default, like before any of our plan goes into action?
No, it's looking at how things have come together, I think.
I mean,
what you feel about the situation. Like, yeah, like in much of Blades in the Dark, there's no hard and fast answer to this. It's kind of a gut feel thing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say that we have like a bit of an element of surprise in that no one will be expecting such a daring act to happen. But then when you said last time that was not really something that we would give an advantage for. So.
I think that there's something to be said for, like, I don't think, even though the billhooks might recognize us, I don't think they'd ever expect us to just like show up at the meeting. I don't. That would be something I anticipate, but I don't know if that constitutes an advantage.
I will actually happily give you, because I think this is a very out there, unpredictable plan. And I am happy to do that. And the reason I didn't give you the last one wasn't because you don't get one for being daring. I just thought it wasn't particularly daring. I thought it was fairly standard, actually. Cause a distraction, break into a place. Whereas this has a lot of moving parts, and it is borderline madness. And I think it is daring and difficult to predict. And I'm happy. And let's wrap it up there. Let's not go into too much detail. You now have one. Again,
nice.
It's not at the disadvantage. So let's see how this engagement roll goes. It's a 3. It's a 3. So you start. I believe that means you start off in a desperate. You start in a desperate position when the action starts, and I feel like the action here. I feel like we have to start with the magistrate deception part of it first, right? I feel like that's what we have to do. So let's pick up. Obviously, the only way of kind of interrupting the magistrate's assistant and her bodyguards on the way to this meeting is because you know where she lives, you've tracked her and trailed her, you know where she works, and you kind of follow her through the day there, and you're now kind of walking down the streets of Charter Hall. And why don't I give you a little description of Charter Hall, because we've only kind of floated past it being accosted by Ironborn before. We haven't actually entered it. Thank you, Steve. Charter Hall there, kind of dead center of Doskvol. Clerks and government workers rush to and fro, official papers bulging from their valises. Wealthy bankers trundle past in heavy carriages with private bodyguards arrayed in clanking armor. Students gather at street corner cafes to discuss Eruvian politics, the tribal lineages of the Dagger Isles, and other esoteric matters. So in other words, very much kind of broad, clean, well-lit. You stick out like an absolute sore thumb. And you know how we're going to pick up? You're going to be walking along behind the magistrate's assistant and her bodyguards. She's just turned down a street leading to a small electro rail station, a platform where she might perhaps be getting aboard to go to the meeting. So clearly the time is approaching. This is the point at which to approach her. You step out. Kind of catching up, intending to kind of interrupt their progress towards the train station. As you do so, her eyes kind of flick over to where you emerge from the slight shadows at the side of the street, and she points directly at you, Three Sheets, and says, "That's him. That's the man who was following me 2 days ago."
Great.
So you're with... hang on. Have our cameras altered? Because I thought we were split.
No, we were split that way.
You were split top and bottom. Okay, that's fine. I can remember that. So yeah, 3 sheets and bricks. There you are. The bodyguards don't seem, they're not dashing towards you with weapons drawn or anything, but their attention is definitely on you, and clearly, the magistrate's assistant feels like she has picked you out as threats.
Right. Well. My reaction is going to be, of course I was following you. That's what I need to talk to you about.
Absolutely. So it's fair to say that I think we're about to leap head first into an action roll here. What are you using to make that roll? And as established, you are in a desperate situation. What are you using for
Sway?
That? Sway. It seems like the one to pick, right? So that's going to be a standard effect, I think. Bricks, are you going to assist this in any way?
Yeah.
Offers me a devil's bargain, anyone, please? We need lots of dice.
I'm kind of pondering a devil's bargain here. I'm trying to think something up.
What about?
Sorry.
Yeah, I will happily offer you a devil's bargain, and the devil's bargain will be that if you pull this off. Regardless of whether you pull this off, you are going to piss off the billhooks more than you already are.
That's great. I know exactly what I'm going to say to do that, because that was me.
Fair enough.
That brings me to.
So yeah, you get one from Bricks and one from the Devil's Bargain.
And I think I'm going to push myself for another 2 strain to bring myself up to 4, because this needs to go well.
Yeah, have you only got 1 in Sway?
Yeah.
I think a good roll here would be good. Yeah,
and this is a desperate situation.
It is desperate, so you get that XP.
So this is my. I'll give you my argument, and then I'll roll. So what I'm going to say is, of course, I've been following you. The keepers are planning to kill you.
Which is how the billhooks are like. Well, clearly they're the keepers.
Yeah.
If you're not, your name came up, and that's
yeah. I think I do it on purpose, just to be like, yeah, you'll know who it was who took your fucking money from you. Yeah, we'll be hearing from you.
Always a good idea for people who carve their
own. Oh god damn it!
I took the devil's bargain for this dice. This roll better be freaking worth it. So of course I'm gonna. The keepers are planning on killing you at the station. We need to move this to a different location. Like they're a dangerous and daring gang of hardened thugs.
Handsome too.
If it wasn't for me watching you for the last few days, they'd have already tried to take you out and replace you with someone else. Go back to your office, and we'll send word to you tonight about this. Don't try and get in contact with us. Yeah. Whatever you do, don't talk to a billhook about this. Yeah, go for it.
And I'm going to assist by saying, do I really look like I give a shit about potholes in Salford Street?
Yeah, this has all been part of a, you should be lucky.
Master plan.
Oh god, this roll better work. Yes, I got 2 6s, a 1 and a 2. So I would have needed. I needed those
critical.
2 6s, a 1 and a 2. Yeah.
2 6s is a critical. I think that's the first time we've had a critical.
And on a desperate roll where we have needed it.
You do it with increased effect, so it's great effect.
Yes.
Kind of as you say this, the magistrate's assistant sort of blanches, and she sort of takes her glasses off nervously and starts rubbing and cleaning them, and says, well, I had no idea that this was so dangerous. I suppose I should have expected it. She is kind of looking up at the bodyguards on either side, and they look concerned, like they're kind of like, if there's one of them leans in fact, and he's got kind of an old like imperial soldier's uniform, like obviously someone who's now mustered out, but has a couple of kind of like medals pinned to his breast, and he kind of leans down to her and says, if there's Madame, if there's any threat at all, we should likely adopt something of a defensive stance, perhaps at the offices. I think that would be safe if this gentleman is correct in the assessment. She says, "Of course, I'll follow whatever protocol is necessary." Well, thank you, Mr.
Oh fuck. Mr.
Do you want the name of a billhook that you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
just to stir the pot even more.
Yeah.
What did we mention? I mean, not Tar, because if you say Tarvel,
I was so close to saying it as well. I was so close.
Like even a critical cannot get back past the stupidity that would be. But like,
can I have a name of one that I consider to be particularly
Corin.
pig ugly?
Yeah,
Corin.
Corin. Coran. Corin. He's like he's a pretty sort of he's known as one of the big bruisers of the bill hooks. Corin.
Well, then I might choose a different name and point in bricks and say this is Corin. Because, like, I'm not a tough big bruiser.
The magistrate's assistant says, and kind of looks across at you and says, well, thank you for this, sir, and I assure you that such great care that you're taking for Lady Drake's office and my safety will absolutely help in your attempts to get your father released.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, the lesson about that here, the better.
Of course. She kind of says, "Well, thank you very much, and we will hear from you about a new meeting."
Obviously, just go.
Sure,
Your lives are at stake.
I'm sorry. She kind of hustles off through the streets. Kind of a couple of people nearby are kind of looking at, not paying a huge amount of attention, but definitely there's like a couple of students, an outside cafe nearby, kind of sipping mushroom wine and kind of like looking over at this uncouth display. And the bodyguards are kind of hustling her off. And I feel like, what is the plan for you guys now that you've just massively succeeded in your action? Are you heading to the station to provide backup? Is that the idea? So you're heading over to the Electro Rail. Are you doing it via the Electro Rail? It's definitely the quickest way there.
Yeah.
Yep,
quickest way there.
Yeah.
You wander over to the Electro Rail platform and start making. You don't bother with like little payments of stuff in Blades in the Dark, and you start making your way towards the rail station. And speaking of the rail station. Speaking of Gaddock Rail Station,
we're going to get so much trouble for this.
Right there now, we have Echo and Silver, and you are standing on the platform that's Echo scouted out, and you are sort of stood there. How are you stood there? How are you waiting? How are you, Have you arrived by rail?
I think I would, because I'd assume that's how a magistrate's assistant would travel to this place.
Am I being your bodyguard?
I'm not sure.
Do you want me as your bodyguard?
Was there a question of you kind of just... I remember someone mentioned that you could just be lurking nearby. Like,
yeah, I thought I was like keeping an eye and making sure it went all right, but yeah.
Yeah,
okay, I'll be doing that.
I'd have said to Echo, like, if it looks like they're about to kill me, please come and help. But otherwise, just stay nearby, please.
Okay. So maybe I mentioned those huge kind of iron stanchions that hold up that skeletal webbing above the station. Pierre, do you think you might be kind of lurking behind a nearby one of them, or something a bit more esoteric?
No, I think that's perfectly
sure. Well, Silver, you are waiting for this meeting to happen, and every so often you kind of glance up at there's a large kind of electro technology clock up on the wall where you can see, because the entire thing is very, very kind of massive and open plan, and you can see this huge clock that sort of faintly, oddly glows in the darkness of Duskfall, and kind of keep glancing up at it because it's past time now, and there's really no sign of the bill hooks. You seem confused by this until you glance up at the platform number directly above it. Yeah, the lurk scouted the wrong platform.
I'm going to, if I have any idea where Echo is, I'm just going to like subtly turn and be like, and then I'm just gonna try and find the correct platform if I can in the station.
Absolutely. And how are we going to try and proceed there? Because there's a question of finding it, but also a question of trying to get there quickly. So what action roll do you want to make to do that? And it's going to be a desperate one.
Oh god, to get there in time.
I think you can, it just doesn't have to be speed based, but like what action roll do you think you'll make to try and find where you need to be 5 minutes ago?
Maybe a survey to just quickly find where it is that I'm meant to be.
I think that's perfectly reasonable. Are we pushing ourselves, or is Echo assisting in any way, or because I think I think there's definitely time to like meet up with Echo to try and resolve the issue. I haven't got a devil's bargain for you, but if someone else does, that's obviously fine.
I'm happy to assist. Do you need some help?
I think it would be good.
Okay, I'll assist.
Okay, so that's 1 stress for Echo.
You can also push yourself.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I might also need some stress for later rolls here. Which is, I'll try with
us being late might not be the end of the world.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Okay, make that survey roll, and I think the survey with this, I think that's standard success. I think it's a decent thing for it, but you are in a desperate position.
Okay, I get a 5 and a 4.
Okay, so yes, let's go with that. So yeah, you struggle your way through the station. It's one of the busiest times of the day here at the rail station, probably intentionally chosen so that people could be lost in the myriad of individuals making their way around. Most of them kind of maybe the wealthier or at least more comfortable elements of Doskvol. You don't get many gangs and criminals rolling around Garrick rail station, especially not at this time during the day. And but you manage to push your way through them and look around for kind of the platform numbers, which are laid out in some, like this station has been built in a rather haphazard and rambling way. But you manage to find your way to the appropriate platform after only a couple of minutes. And you make your way on there, and ahead of you, further down the platform, you see a couple of individuals. And at first, the billhooks often look quite similar to the grinders. The grinders wear those refinery workers' smocks. The billhooks wear butchers' aprons, not out of oil skins, but out of kind of thick brown and black fabric for soaking up as much fluid as possible. And they're clearly stood there. One of them is pointing up at the clock, and the other is kind of shaking their head and has a very kind of like angry expression on their face. How are you going to approach the situation? As someone has said, remember your XP for your desperate roll there, which should go in your resolve tracker. How are you going to approach this? I'll tell you right now, it's a desperate situation.
I think I'll just walk over quite quickly. I don't want to seem like I'm like flustered or running. I'm just going to walk quickly over and apologize to them. I'm terribly sorry. The train from Charter Hall was delayed. Nothing I could do about it. You know how the tracks are this time of year. It's just a nightmare.
Echo, what are you kind of? Are you approaching with Silver? Or are you kind of finding another nearby place to lurk?
Yeah, I'm trying to still stay out of sight. So I'm probably going on like a wide circle around.
Sure,
but I'm trying to keep pace.
Okay, I think there's 2 roles here then, because I think, given the desperateness of the situation, I think there's 2 roles to be made here, and I think one of them is desperate and one of them is risky. So why don't we make the roll for Silver first? You need to make a roll to convince these billhooks that you're on the level and here and ready and willing to do business, right? So why don't you? What action roll are you making for that?
I think definitely sway.
Sway leaps out again, doesn't it? I'd obviously say it's a desperate one. I'd obviously say I don't think Echo can help because Echo has moved off and away. Is there any other factors we want to do? I'm not going to offer devil's bargain here. I've offered a tasty one already today, and I don't like offering too many. But if someone else wants to come along, that's fine. Or maybe you want to push yourself for some stress.
I definitely will push myself.
Yeah, sure. That's absolutely reasonable. So that's 2 stress and take an extra die. And unless anyone else has any Devil's Bargains to offer, make that roll, but don't tell us what you get immediately, because I want to make these rolls at the same time. And you know what? We're going to make these rolls at the same time. We're going to look at what they are and maybe pan out the results of this, and then we're probably going to wrap up the session there, because I feel like that may be it. Well, we'll see. We'll see how they are, because if they both just go wonderfully, then we'll probably maybe even finish the score quite quickly. But we'll see. Echo. What action roll are you making in order to keep yourself out of sight and secreted?
So I was thinking prowl, because I'm kind of trying to do it at speed. Yeah.
Do it speed, do it stealthy. Justin, did you want to say something?
Sorry, I did for Devil's Bargain. I know I'm a bit late to the detail.
Devil's Bargain for silver.
For silver, yeah.
I have already rolled.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about
it. Would it work for Echo?
I don't think so.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I am similarly not offering a Devil's Bargain for Echo. Do you want to push yourself or anything?
Could I potentially assist by trying to approach the billhooks in a way,
in an ostentatious way?
Yeah, draw their eye and away from where I think Echo might
I
go.
think that's fine. Take a stress to do that. Take an extra die. Yeah.
Oh no.
And if you make me that roll, so you're if you're pushing yourself, obviously 2 stress and add to it. Both of you make the roll, and let's go with, you know what? Let's go with Pierre first. I feel like this is the less ostentatious roll, right? So
can you roll more than 4 dice?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
nice.
Well, then I am pushing myself, so I'm going to roll 5 dice.
What do you have 3 in prowl already?
I upgraded my prowl as my last thing. And
flipping heck.
So you got 3 in prowl, and then taking 1 from assistance and 1 from pushing yourself. Yeah, I don't think there's a limit on. Steve, do you want to take a look and see? But I don't think there is a limit.
Because I'm hoping for just glorious success.
Make the roll, and if it's a mistake, we won't do it again. But make the roll.
Okay.
And then we'll know for next time.
5.
Okay, that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. So yeah, okay. And I've got an idea for what complication I want to introduce there. But let's see how Silver's roll went, shall we? You're on mute, by the way, Sam. Oh, can't keep a tension like this.
That was all planned. I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 5.
Okay.
So close to crit.
Okay. So here's the situation. Silver, you walked up to them declaring this kind of, you said in an ostentatious fashion. Tell us how you distract from Echo's sneaking around. You know, how are you waving your arms in any particular way or whatever?
If it's at all appropriate, I'm going to be wearing my silver cape here. I don't know if magistrates would ever wear that.
It's the first outing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Sure, I see no reason. It's certainly ostentatious.
I'll probably, just flip it over my shoulder as I arrive, just kind of greet them all one by one, maybe shake their hands individually just to make sure they're really kind of paying attention to me, and then go on to complain about the delays on the train tracks.
Sure. And they kind of look down with faint disgust as you shake their hand and kind of pull it away from you as quickly as possible and say, yeah, all right, just don't be late again. Yeah, if this happens again, don't piss off the bill hooks. One of them says that one of them is very kind of large, standing behind the other one, and has kind of like sort of balding but with longish hair and a kind of big mustaches leading down, and stays silent and just glares at you over the top of another one who's kind of like a more weaselly individual with kind of thinning hair and kind of scrubby facial hair. And he kind of peers around and kind of hefts a fairly large wooden box in his hands and says, now, this is only for Lady Drake. You get that?
Of course, absolutely. Lady Drake trusts me implicitly, and I will take this directly to her.
Absolutely great. About 10 feet away, kind of on the other side of a kind of one of those large iron pillars, Echo, you've managed to kind of circle round, as you said. You've done it quietly. They have no clue that you are there whatsoever. And as you kind of peer around to look at them from behind, you can see one of them preparing to like hand the box over to Silver, and there's a little gust of air under the scarf around your neck as something breathes a sigh of relief. And then a voice from behind you, a horribly recognizable voice, says, Echo. And you sort of peer around. Behind you is Decker, the leader of the Dockland anarchists, in his usual garb, i.e. topless, ridiculously cut, long rambling beard, a couple of sycophants behind him, sort of like almost peering around him in ragged clothing of Severosi refugees. And he reaches out towards you with that odd sort of messianic habit that he has, and says quite loudly, what brings the keepers to this august place? And I think we will wrap up the session there. It's wonderful being able to throw complications in on almost every success. But there we go.
It's going so well.
Going so well. That's what a 5 gets you.
That's what a 5 gets.
Roll 5 dice. I mean,
brutal.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, folks. As usual, if you've got any comments or questions, please do throw them in the chat, and Steve, our stream manager, will pop them up on screen for us to discuss. In the meantime, just a little bit of promo and admin and stuff. We had a new follower through that, Rainer Massimo. Thank you very much for following. We have 3 weekly series that we run these days, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, all starting at 8:00 p.m. BST. Mondays is Call of Cthulhu, but next week will be a week off as we launch into our 3rd series of Call of Cthulhu with Johnny. So that will be starting on Monday, look at the calendar, Monday the 19th of July. So that's when Call of Cthulhu kicks off again on Mondays. Tuesdays is Blades in the Dark, that's this, and Wednesdays is Coriolis, the wonderful sci-fi system from Free League. We also run monthly one-shots on the first Saturday of every month, the most recent of which was earlier this week, which was Honey Heist. The VOD for that is hovering around Twitch and will be on YouTube at the end of the week. Speaking of YouTube, there's a number of links down below: Twitch and YouTube, social media, Discord, and Patreon. Why not check them all out? Yeah, that's my blurb. Have I forgotten anything? Oh, we run a fortnightly thing over on Free League, but it's not on for a couple of weeks. July 18th is when it starts again. Cool. Good session.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Good.
That was that ending.
I'm glad.
Why do you do this to us?
I just want to throw Decker in all the time.
Yeah.
Those, because there's a couple of other GMs in this group. You know those NPCs who you just really like to play because you've got such like a vivid shot of them in your head. Yeah, absolutely. It's also worth noting, and this will be no surprise whatsoever to people who know me, but I am basing a number of the looks of a few of these characters in Blades in the Dark on various professional wrestlers. And if you can, if anyone if anyone in the chat or anyone outside, or even anyone in the group wants to guess who each of them are, maybe not John, because John will probably know instantly. Then shout them out, and we can have a bit of fun guessing those. I'll give you a clue: none of them are Hulk Hogan. So,
I think I know.
There we
Professional wrestler Donald J. Trump is.
They're all Kid the Rock.
He's taken one move. Sorry, Pierre. What did you say?
I said they're all Kid the Rock.
They're all Kid Rock. Oh, they're all Kid Rock.
They're all Kid Rock.
My God.
Oh God!
Even worse. Isn't that there's like a TV show of Young Rock now, isn't there?
Yeah.
Isn't there? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also one of young Chris Rock, confusingly.
I mean,
that's a bit old now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It was ages ago. anyway, I am now definitely into the rambling phase of this. I don't think there's any comments or questions this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to my lovely players for lovely playing. Thanks to Steve for being an excellent stream manager as always. And we'll see you next week for more Blades in the Dark. Bye-bye, everyone.